The lighthouse at the legendary Mull of Kintyre feels like one of the remotest corners of Scotland. Which it kind of is, except that just a few miles away there's a vibrant historic town. That town is the once royal borough and whisky capital of Campbeltown. The Kintyre peninsula is a long, thin finger of land that points south into the Irish Sea. Its position between Ireland, the Hebrides and mainland Scotland meant that back in the days when sea travel was king, Campbeltown really had an advantage, and there would have been hundreds of boats out there in Campbeltown Loch. The town's Gaelic name, in fact its original name, is Kinloch Kilkerran. It was renamed in the 17th century by the then Earl of Argyll, who was also the chief of the Clan Campbell. It was the Duchess of Argyll who prompted the building of the first harbour in the early 1700s, and the town then began its growth. In the Victorian era, the fishing fleet numbered over 600 boats, and there was even a light railway linking the port to the local coal mines. Alas, shipbuilding and fishing declined dramatically in the latter half of the 20th century. Of course, fast forward to the modern age, and Campbeltown suddenly finds itself at a massive disadvantage. Quite simply, it's a long way from anywhere. Glasgow is a 3.5-hour drive, and that is the nearest large centre of population. That, of course, has been a challenge in more recent times for Campbeltown as regards keeping economic opportunities here and maintaining a population. The population may have declined since the heady days, but Campbeltown has grasped the nettle of regeneration, spending around £13 million to repair more than 40 of its historic buildings. Just one of many initiatives that have revitalised this outpost of Argyll. And one of its most famous industries is also making a comeback. The reward for all the hard effort that has gone in to changing Campbeltown's fortunes was in the 2020 Scottish Regeneration Awards, when the town won Most Improved Town in Scotland. Campbeltown is actually a specified whisky region, like Speyside, and it was once known as the whisky capital. Hard to believe now, but there were at one time over 30 distilleries in the town alone. It went down to 1 distillery, but thankfully it's now up to 3, soon to be 4. Probably the most well known is Springbank. Now, the most famous local residents in the 1970s and 80s were Paul and Linda McCartney. The Linda McCartney Memorial Gardens, adjacent to the library and museum, fondly remember that period and celebrate the love that Linda had for Kintyre and Campbeltown. The sculpture, by Jane Robbins, was donated by Sir Paul. The garden is a quiet refuge for rest and relaxation. I'm sure Linda would have loved it. Now then, how about a unique example of Glasgow Art Nouveau? The Wee Picture House dates back to 1913 and is the oldest cinema in Scotland still showing films, as well as the last of the so-called atmospheric theatres in Scotland. Forget your multiplex boxes, this is where movies are meant to be seen. Apparently, it was once said that there were nearly as many churches as distilleries in Campbeltown. Not so many these days, but you can still find the huge tower of the Lawn and Lowland Church, built in 1872. The tower is out of all proportion to the church itself and can be seen from miles away. No doubt a welcome sight for returning fishermen. Many of Scotland's towns boast fine market crosses, and Campbeltown is no exception. Although not in its original position, the stone cross dates from the late 14th century and is adorned with plants, animals and saints. So how do you get here? Well, the fastest but most expensive connection with Glasgow is by air. The tiny airport is just outside town. In the past, ferries have linked the town with both Northern Ireland and with Ardrossan on the Scottish mainland. Will services resume in 2026 or 2027? Well, who knows. Until then, there are some private charters from the harbour. I came by car, hopping across the Cowal Peninsula through the gorgeous port of Tarbert and then down the west coast of Kintyre. It's a great road trip. Once you've made it to Campbeltown, you're surrounded by all the stunning scenery that you would expect from the west coast of Scotland. From the beaches of Kintyre's west coast, the beautiful low-lying island of Argyll will tempt you over for a day or more. And then at Southend, near the Mull of Kintyre, you can look out towards the coast of Northern Ireland, or simply watch the local wildlife. I love the empty beaches down here. In fact, I really shouldn't be telling you about them. Of course, there remain economic challenges, but the direction of travel for the capital of Kintyre seems to be most definitely upwards. And I highly recommend a visit to this relatively untouched corner of Scotland.